The information in this podcast is not intended to be used as the primary basis of investment decisions. Any forward-looking statements are not guarantees of future performance, and actual results may differ or other factors may change.
Welcome to Making Sense, the podcast for anyone interested in diving into the investment and startup space. Hosted by us, Emma and Carmen.
We are interns at Red Thread Ventures, an investment and advisory firm based in Vancouver. From interviews to startup advice, we will take you on our journey as we learn more about the finance industry.
And with that being said, let's get right into today's episode.
Okay, welcome everyone to our first episode of our podcast, Making Sense, hosted by us, Emma and Carmen. So today is just a higher level introductory episode just into us and a little bit about investing in general. So I thought it'd be really good if we started off with just who we are and how we even got into our roles right now. So Emma, how about you start us off?
For sure. So I'm a UBC business student. We just finished our first year at UBC Sauder School of Business, and now we're going into our second year. And in the meantime, we're also interns at Red Thread Ventures. This is an investment and advisory company based out of Vancouver, BC. So we both met each other this year, actually, for the very first time. And it was definitely not a conventional friendship to begin with, for sure. Carmen, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so basically we had this course called Business Fundamentals, Com 101, and they basically randomized the groups. And I believe that there was like some type of survey where you kind of had to talk about your leadership style, and then they kind of took those answers and like made like a good blend of people, because I felt like our group was pretty well balanced between like more people who were leaders and more people who preferred to be more like followers, but like people who were hard workers at the same time. So we were put into the same group, and it's throughout the project, it was definitely more like of a professional relationship. Like we didn't know each other. Literally, I'm from Toronto, Emma's from Richmond, so like literally the opposite sides of the country. And so it was very professional. But one day I saw a case competition. I was like, like I really want to do this, because I had been involved in case competitions in the past, but I didn't have anyone to do them with because it was first year into university. I didn't know anyone. So I asked Emma, because she was one of the few people that I had interacted with through the group project, and she said yes, and we did very well. We actually got third place, which was really exciting. So, and I know Emma, that was Emma's like first case competition. So how about you talk about like a little bit more as to how your first one was for you?
Yeah, for sure. So that competition, I really didn't know what to expect going into it because, as you said, like we weren't very close with each other at the point. So at that point, so I was like, oh, will we even work together very well in like a one-on-one environment? But again, I was curious because it is my first year and I haven't really met anyone because I've been spending the whole time in my bedroom in front of my computer screen. So I thought this would be a really good opportunity to kind of get to know you. And we had one other partner. So I was like, okay, I'll get to meet some other girls as well. And we'll just see how it goes. So I didn't know what to expect. We ended up doing a case competition for Vessi Shoes. That's another Vancouver-based company. And it was related to marketing. And that was a subject that I was more passionate about and Carmen was passionate about as well. Because we both decided like, hey, we like this creative aspect. We like writing, we like graphic design. This is something that we want to do. So from that conversation, we kind of just dove right into it. We put together a little mini commercial and yeah, I guess the judges liked it because there we are. So then because of that success, we kind of continued on and we got to talking more and we even signed up for some more case competitions. And then that professional and kind of businessy relationship ended up progressing into more of a friendship. But in the meantime, like we were still on opposite sides of the country. So even though now we're talking every single day, I still haven't seen her face to face. Like she could be 6'7" and I would have no clue because I've only seen her from the shoulders up. So it's a little bit of a strange dynamic, I would say, that many people just can't experience until COVID, really.
Yeah, so even being in like first year university and being in our classes, like literally all the people we're interacting with we've never seen before, so it's very hard to make judgments. Like I feel like even like asking you to participate in the case competition is just like, oh, like I haven't met her in real life, like I don't know how it's really going to go well, but like you said, it worked out really well. And like we've involved ourselves in another case competition called Imprint, where we did branding, the marketing for Evo car share, and we got second place. And then following that, we pushed our limits with doing a finance case competition, where we did a stock pitch for Merck. And that was really interesting, very out of our comfort zone. But I think we both like highly recommend you just get out there and try a lot of competitions, because if you're going into marketing, especially, then you get to play around with different branding styles and different like brand voices. And it's really interesting. And you also get to practice your public speaking. So it may be daunting, but it definitely paid off in our favors. And maybe we'll do an episode about case competitions, and definitely we're trying to season our presentations as well.
Yeah, so those case competitions actually kind of laid a foundation for our summer internship this year. So throughout all of this, like we were becoming closer and closer, talking every day, as I said. And I had a connection through my family to get, through my dad actually, to get an internship at this Red Thread Ventures company. And this was something that I felt very fortunate to have, because not almost no first year students have that like connection and that opportunity. So I was extremely grateful. And my dad also asked, like, is there anyone who you would recommend who you want to do this with? Because I think it would be more fun with two people. And I was like, I totally agree. Two people is the way to go. So instantly I was like, Carmen, we worked well together. We've been talking nonstop for almost a year now. Like this will be a great dynamic. And lucky for us, she was actually moving from Toronto to Vancouver starting in May. So right after our classes ended. So we would get to meet up for the first time and then start working together in our internship for the first time, like within the first week. So that was a very exciting week for both of us. Um, and then also, like, as she was saying, this finance case competition for Merck, that's kind of more like what Red Thread Ventures is doing on a day-to-day basis. So that experience gave us something to talk about at our interview for sure. Because otherwise, first year students, like, what do we know, right? Our classes, we haven't even taken any finance classes, no accounting classes, no even marketing classes, even though that's what we're interested in. So really, it's these external experiences that actually gave us the means to have anything to talk to and any experiences to draw from.
Mm-hmm. And in case you're wondering like what exactly we even do, it's actually a lot. So although we're working within the finance and investing space, we're actually doing the more of the marketing side of things. So it's really a marriage of like two different fields, which is interesting. And it is quite perfect actually, because Emma and I are pretty sure that we want to specialize in marketing, and in our program we get to choose the path we want to specifically focus on. So this is just perfect for that. We get to do marketing, but we also get to explore finance, which is interesting because we are pretty sure we don't want to go down that path, but it's still nice to see what's out there and just to get our hands on everything and learn new things. So we do newsletters, podcasts right here, blogs. We go to a lot of meetings, more administrative stuff. And one of my favorite things is actually going to pitches and hearing companies pitch to us, which is interesting because we get to be the judges for the first time and not the presenters. And we can also draw from a lot of tips and techniques that we can implement into our own case competitions this fall.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Listening to these pitch presentations and just hearing all these really young, really enthusiastic entrepreneurs, like I think like, wow, that's so impressive. Like in a couple years when I'm graduating from university, like I want to see myself in their seats and like starting my own thing, right? So just going on from that, I kind of want to give you guys a high level overview of what Red Thread Ventures is. So it's an investment and advisory firm driven by a global network of angels, entrepreneurs, and advisors. So in addition to helping these companies secure financing, we can also provide them with CPAs, CFOs, and then pitch and marketing advice to help them kind of bring their businesses to the next level. So it's been only about 4 weeks since we started in this position. But already we have learned so much. So we just think that this podcast would be an amazing opportunity to kind of share some of our learnings throughout this journey with you guys, and even just document it for ourselves. So we can look back on this and be like, wow, that was so amazing. That was a great time. Look at how much we've grown. So yeah, that's kind of our story here.
And in terms of Red Thread Ventures itself, we've actually invested like over $776,000 into 14 companies, and these companies are all vetted. There's a whole process, due diligence, the whole thing. And
Full
so,
9 yards.
exactly. So some of the companies that we've actually invested in and that Emma and I have gotten to know throughout the weeks, I'm just going to name a few, but like there's a company called Isle, which is a company that offers sustainable menstruation products such as washable cloth pads and intimates, and it's in the femtech space. And I feel like this industry is kind of a bit more taboo, so it's interesting what Isle is doing. And I actually get ads for Isle now, and I love their branding and stuff. And then there's Circle Wellness, which is a modern wellness design studio that converts storage containers into luxury spa experiences. And I was telling Emma that like I want to go and we can treat it as like market research, but really we're just relaxing. But it just seems really interesting. And then some of our bigger companies are like Rakavina and Solution Financial. So Rakavina is a huge biotech company that focuses more on cancer treatment, and then Financial is more like luxury asset leasing. And Emma actually wrote a blog for Solution Financial.
Yeah, it was a blog about linking solutions to NFTs, which is another huge industry trend that's coming up and coming right now. But enough about that, I guess. Let's kind of dive into some more of what we wanted to talk about and accomplish in today's episode. So within these first few weeks, as we were saying, we don't have too much experience in this financial industry. So being thrown headfirst into this, I was like, wow, there's a lot that I could be doing with my money right now. Like, look at all of these very successful people who are investing in these companies, these high growth companies, and making huge profits. So that's what kind of got me thinking, like, wow, my money right now is sitting in my bank account. Like, that's not a smart decision. There's just so many other things that I could be doing with it. So then we put in some research. So we looked into stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You can invest in real estate, RRSPs. There's just so many options out there. And for young people, it could seem a little bit overwhelming. Like for me, it seemed very, very overwhelming. And that's probably a portion of why I put this off for so long. It was in the back of my mind. I was always like, yeah, I'm going to invest. But it never actually happened. So actually within this last week, I was like, okay, I'm making a podcast. I'm going to take some concrete steps and actually get this ball rolling. I've learned stuff. I've heard stuff from all of these other people who I'm working with. Like, what better time than now, right? So actually our first day working here, in order to get caught up to speed, some of our mentors at Red Thread Venture, they told us to start looking into business news, which is something that I haven't done too much in my past. So they recommended us to go onto websites like Crunchbase, Seeking Alpha, Morning Brew. There's so many options out there. Even just looking through your LinkedIn page, you can find what different industries are doing, what different companies are doing, and then kind of catch yourself up to speed and find what's really interesting to you. So I personally subscribed to a few of these, especially notably Morning Brew, and I really like that newsletter. So I told Carmen that also something that she should look into, and I think you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, they basically give you daily emails. I've also subscribed to the marketing one, and it's just like a really high level overview, but they also talk about like really random things that you wouldn't really expect. Like today I got an email about like Krispy Kreme donuts, and I was like, oh, like I guess it's interesting to know. And it's just really good to get your morning started with like what's kind of going on and keep yourself updated in a more fun way versus the very conventional way of like television, news, radio. So yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then from there, once you kind of have this background information, like, okay, so these are some companies that I think are kind of cool, and I know that I should be doing something with my money. that's when we started looking into some more stock options and IPOs specifically. So the two online platforms that I was personally looking into was Wealthsimple and Questrade. I made an account on both. Although I decided that because I'd already filed some tax returns on Wealthsimple, that was what I was going to go to for my first time. So I put some money into it and I was like, this is going to be my experiment. Like, I don't care if this money grows. I don't care if I lose this money. Like, I only put $150 in because I was just like, I'm going to teach myself, and I'm going to teach myself in a hands-on way. So at Red Thread Ventures, just listening into some like side conversations, we kind of were able to draw out two key pieces of advice when it comes to investing your money. So first of all, we learned that it's very important to invest money in a diversified portfolio. And secondly, we learned that it is important to have interest in the companies that you're investing in. Carmen, do you want to talk to that some more?
Yeah, for sure. So like I feel like just with like anything, if you're not interested in it, you're basically not going to be inclined to like update yourself, gain knowledge. But this is really important within the stock market because you want to pick out the industries that you're interested in because these are probably things you're looking at every day anyway. So you're going to have an advantage in that you're more knowledgeable in these areas than everyone else. So with that knowledge, you're able to predict this, how the market moves more. Obviously, no one can be like a fortune teller genie type of thing, but like with more knowledge and keeping up with the trends and with the news, you can just update yourself. So, for example, with TikTok has impacted so many people's marketing strategies and like basically all industries, I would say, especially more industries that are targeted towards younger consumers. That has changed significantly. So if you hadn't been a part of that kind of more TikTok, like fast paced type of trend, you could fall behind. So like it's the same logic, like keep yourself updated, edit your news feeds, like subscribe to channels that specifically cover industries you're interested in, and naturally you'll just become more knowledgeable and you'll feel more safe about putting your money in to things that you feel more confident about.
Yeah, and then secondly, our second piece of advice was diversifying your portfolio. So what that means pretty much is spreading your money out into many different companies and many different industries, because it's, as Carmen said, we're not genies. You can't predict the future. So we don't know whether these companies are going to take off, whether they're going to fall back. Like we don't know. It's a mystery, right? So by spreading out your money into many different sectors, that way you're limiting your risk in a little bit of a way, because maybe one company isn't doing so well or one industry isn't doing so well, but that's okay because you have money in these 5 other places as well. So that way your money is, I'd say, safer overall. And that's one thing that I took into account when I was first spending my money, because I only put in $150. That's not that much. You would think like maybe that goes into one company. But because it was my first time, I was like, no, I'm going to spread this out. I'm going to pick some smaller companies, maybe some smaller index funds, put my money into there and spread it out. So I have my $150 spread into 5 different stocks and index funds right now. So we'll see how that goes for me right now. It's been in there for about a week, but we'll see. And then in order to kind of elaborate on this, we just kind of came up with this little bit of a metaphor relating your investment portfolio to your social media Instagram discovery page. So as Carmen was saying, with these, in order to invest in stuff that you're interested in, you have to look into it more. But Instagram already knows what you're interested in. So in order to keep you and your attention span on their platform, they are showing you time and time again, like maybe I like watching sports and I like looking at memes and I like doing makeup. So my For You page is filled with only those stuff. And if I don't like cooking, they're not going to show me any of the cooking stuff because I don't engage with that. So those interests are what's keeping me drawn to the platform. And that's what you should be thinking about when you're investing your money, because you want interests that are going to keep you in the loop, and you want to follow where your money's going, what the companies are doing. So if you're interested in that, you're going to be way more inclined to stay up to date.
So don't just fall into the trend of just investing in like things everyone else is like, if you know nothing about crypto, like I don't think it'd be as smart a smart decision to just like go head first into that. Like for example, I'm more interested in like fashion, like sustainable fashion. I know like Aritzia is going very like doing very well, and so that's something I'll look into more, for example. But yeah, that's just a really great metaphor. And like Emma has taken the next step into actually investing into Wealth Simple. But before that, Emma and I had actually been using Best Broker, which is a free like just stock like simulation app where you have fake money and you can just invest it into companies as if they were real and just see how your money moves. Like even if you lose money on the fake app, it has no consequences. And if anything, like you're learning more and you're able to educate yourself on how the market moves. Like, okay, like I'm going to pretend I'm going to buy this stock today and I'm going to try selling it next week, like, and just see what happens. So that's a really great way to educate yourself, and it's free.
I totally have to agree there. And there's so many other like gamified versions of the stock market that you can look into. It's not just Best Broker, but that's the one that we were kind of following for a little bit. We actually named our case competition team after that app because that was all the information that we had about investing at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Also, something you can do as well is when I was in my last year of high school, I actually saw a couple of my friends like competing through these gamified apps. And it was just really funny to watch because they were on their phones, they're showing each other. So if you want to do that with a very safe, like simulated app and just like try to compete with your friends, I think that's a great way as well. Something else you can do is go to your local bank and just talk to a financial advisor. That's something that I've been meaning to do for a while. They know how the market works. That's basically their job, is to educate you and to guide you through the way. So just going to your banks and just asking to set up an appointment, super easy. Even if you don't do anything about it, at least you can walk away with more information and more confidence. So that's something that we highly recommend you do as well.
Yeah, so that's about all we have for today's episode. I think we thoroughly covered some beginning basics of looking into how to start making your money work for you and investing in stuff that makes sense to you. So two key takeaways that we have for you today. When you're investing your money, try to invest in places that you're interested in and companies that you're interested, so you can stay up to date and so you can see what's actually happening and what they're doing. And then also to invest in a diversified portfolio so that not all your eggs are in one basket. That if some market trends go down, you still have some safety elsewhere. And yeah, so I recommend that you guys stay tuned, stay up to date, maybe follow Red Thread Adventures on our LinkedIn, check out our website, because we'll be posting some more podcasts in this series coming up in the future days. So thank you guys for staying with us till the end, and we hope to see you again later.